Hey everyone, just a quick letter on intelligence. Objective or politicized? That's the key to understanding. So, what is politicization? Well, downward politicization is when the policymaker puts demands on the analysts and says, look at this is what I'm looking for. You can give me what I'm looking for. Or maybe your career doesn't go up, maybe you lose proximity to me, etc. So there are different ways to do this. One of the just epitomes of this was during the 1980s. William Casey would say to his analysts on Central America, I want to see and I want to hear that the Soviet Union is interfering with Central American politics. If you don't have that information, I don't want to hear it. Well, that's pretty bad because, there really was very little intervention by the Soviet Union, but that's what the Reagan administration wanted. That's called downward politicization because the policymaker is putting pressure on the analyst. Upward politicization is when the analyst gives purposely the information that the policymaker wants in order to curry favor. That's why it's kind of a debate. Should analysts be close to the policymaker or far away? That really is open to debate because if you get too close, you get politicized. If you get too far away, no one listens to you. So that is one of the dilemmas of intelligence, but it's really interesting. You fast forward to now, there's still politicization of intelligence. Go back to the Iraq War. Are there weapons of mass destruction? It was clear George Bush wanted one answer. Yes, there was. And we're still looking for him, so don't you people worry. We're going to find him someday. Now, the similar stuff is going on with Tulsi Gabbard, where she's basically saying that, well, maybe Iran doesn't have as much nuclear capability as we think. And the president of the United States, Donald Trump, is saying, well, I don't really want to listen to her. So she's kind of falling out of favor in these kind of bureaucratic turf wars. That's not what they want to hear. The same with Tren de Aragua, which you'll see in another video. It's pretty interesting how a couple people who said the Venezuelan government was not involved with this group, whether you love the Venezuelan government or not is not important. That's what the objective analysts came to a conclusion. They arrived to this conclusion. Nope. You're kind of fired. So I think that this is common throughout administrations, and this is something we should be wary of. Moreover, getting that good information is difficult. There was actually many mishaps with intelligence. We could go on, the Aldrich Ames case, other cases where people who seem very conservative, pro-United States, Hansen is one with the FBI, were actually selling information to the Soviets, and when the Soviet Union fell, actually selling it to Russia because people love money. And they also make a lot of mistakes, which you'll see in the video on Jose Figueres, where we actually supported Jose Figueres, did not go in with the CIA and overthrow democracy, and that created a stable Costa Rica. However, in other countries, particularly Iran, and this is one of the reasons why we have the problems we do today, is that we went in 1953 and overthrew Mossadegh, who was democratically elected, at least by the parliament of Iran, and reinstalled the Shah. That he was a brutal dictator, and so when brutal dictators come about, the people become revolutionary. And then in Iran, because it's a Muslim country, it really politicized the mosques, and the mosques were able to get a lot of power, which they still hold today. Now, how much power they have is debatable, because they're not very popular. The Islamic regime, can it fall or not? And that's when we get into the next thing. Should, the United States be involved in Iran? But you're seeing where intelligence is really playing out in these drones, finding intelligence on the ground, where you got human intelligence kind of merging now with the geospatial drone, among other types of intelligence, which is just amazing right now. And the other case I talked about, which was a total failure that they have to use propaganda, is Arbenz, Jacobo Arbenz in 1954. The CIA helped overthrow Hakabor Benz. You're going to see Edward Bernays, where they use propaganda to do this. Propaganda is always used, even today, with artificial intelligence, etc., in order to convince people that he was a communist when he wasn't, and it created instability in Guatemala and a civil war and the disaster that it caused, everything from genocide to now still instability. In fact, I have a book in Spanish, Fruta Amarga, it's called Bitter Fruit. This is a famous book on United Fruit Company's work with both the CIA and the government to overthrow Arbenz, which stepped on United Fruit's interest because he wanted to unionize the banana industry and also give out some of the land to the poor peasantry, which is very popular in developing countries, land reform. In fact, I got this in Nicaragua, and it's signed by the author to the former Vice President Sergio Ramirez, which is kind of interesting because he's now in exile. But that's one of the things about intelligence. And then you might have, spies, and then the spies turn on you. You're going to see a big thing on that spy versus spy video, which is really interesting. But this is one of the things we have to talk about today. Intelligence is still useful, right? But will we use it for objective analysis, or will we use it for more politicization? And this gets into the debate, should we be involved in the Israeli and Iranian conflict based on our intelligence? What should we do? Well, I'll leave it to your intelligence to make a decision. So it's great hearing from you, and I can't wait to hear your different opinions. Take care, everyone.